It felt like every step I took forward, it would just kind of be washed away. I wasn't making active money and I had a reserve of money that I was going through. I'm running out of money, but I have to just keep having faith. I was hired for both jobs within 2 days. My discomfort is a signal that I'm doing something right. Because there's a difference between putting yourself in harm and like recognizing that discomfort is not something you should avoid. It is something that you should put your whole energy into and ride the wave.
Ever been annoyed with the expression all in good time? Feeling triggered when someone says to you, it'll happen when it's meant to. I've been there. And when you're running out of money, you're hearing no every single day, you're gaining momentum and then feeling totally stalled. Hearing those phrases can feel so frustrating. And yet, in reflection, Ruvini knows that she landed her 2 incredible jobs at the right time, when she and the organization were actually ready, when she surrendered to the timeline. No one said this was going to be an easy journey, and Ruvini walked it patiently, step by step. Pivoting careers from tech sales, Ruvini knew she wanted a career that centered helping people, but that also felt alignment with the way that was done. Now, after 10 months into the collective, she's landed 2 incredible opportunities to do just that. Meet Ruvini.
I really appreciate it, Alex.
So tell me a little bit about how much familiarity you had with grant writing before you joined the collective.
I'm going to be honest, I had zero experience or knowledge about grant writing outside of just the research scientific community. Grants for me was research only and funding for experiments and lab stuff. And my sister also is in research and she got experience writing grants. And I didn't realize that there was a lot wider scope and access to participating in different types of organizations through grant writing that I could potentially be a part of.
How confident were you then in your grant writing skills when you began, and then how has that changed in the year?
On a scale of 1 to 10, like 2, to be honest.
Hey, it's more than some.
More than some, because I loved writing always since I was young. I've always done like creative writing. My freshman year of college, I got accepted to this like really auspicious program funded by the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. It's called Integrative Quantitative Science course. I thought I couldn't go because it was a 50 grand tuition and I didn't have a college fund. I had to rely fully on scholarships or loans. I got accepted to an engineering program at Mississippi State. I was so close to going, but my mom told me, why don't you just write a letter to the prof's office and see what they can do about your funding situation. I wrote a letter from the heart a few months later, right before I was going to accept my Mississippi State track. I got a letter saying, we've granted you full tuition for the whole year. I was shocked beyond belief, but yeah, I got over 50 grand. So I was 17 when I got that. So I consider that my first grant.
1,000,000,000%.
And I never thought of it as a grant until I got into this course and I was thinking, where have I actually done this type of work before and where can I apply that skill? It's a really great full circle moment that I did something like that and now I've come full circle many years later.
That is wild. What a story. I love that your mom was like, hey, why don't we just try?
Yeah.
And you were brave enough to write that letter. It's beautiful.
The worst you can hear is no. And I already heard no. So it's like, it couldn't have gotten worse than that.
Oh, and it's so true because when we're switching career fields, it is a lot of no. So that kind of leads us into the valley of despair was very real for you not very long ago. Do you want to tell us about,
Oh, yeah.
your valley?
The reason I found the Grant Writing Collective was because I was freshly laid off from a job in tech sales. Before that, I had left another company that I was actually on a really great track, but I felt they weren't really valuing my growth. I wanted to go where I was valued. It felt like every step I took forward, it would just kind of be washed away. I had some money saved. I decided, I'm going to take a break and like really think about what my values are, what is driving me, and why I really want to contribute to the world in a way that satisfies me. So I did take that time and I actually got an Instagram ad. It was for Learn Grant Writing. I did more research. I went through all of the resources you guys had on YouTube and I thought it doesn't hurt to just look into this, try for an interview and see if there is alignment. It made me feel like I could feel connected to this work in a way that was so different from my 4 other careers I've had. Once I learned about grant writing, I thought, oh my gosh, my sense of justice is so strong. Why not use that to drive me forward in the next chapter of my life? When I enrolled in the program, I literally did not want to take on another job. I just wanted to put my work in and put my focus into a single track. As I was going through this, I wasn't making active money and I had a reserve of money that I was going through. I had planned out the first 3 months, oh, then I'll get employed. In that meantime, I found a place to live. This person that I'm now living with currently, she works in the nonprofit space, and it was just pure coincidence. She's been working in this space for a long time, and she helped connect me to do these curious conversations with so many people within the Memphis community. She made me realize everyone wants to help each other, and they want you to show up in person. During one volunteer experience, I met someone named Carmela, and she was a former CTO that now owns a local fitness studio. I did the curious conversations, and I said, I'm a grant writer, even though I didn't have any experience actually grant writing. She connected me with 2 nonprofits. The first one, they were like, since you have no experience, you have to show me what you're going to do. So I offered to do them some work for free. I was like, I need to find something else. So it was, let me up my LinkedIn game. And that was in the course. I'm going to invest in premium, say like what services I offer. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I got some inquiries and I ended up getting my first paid client. And it was a private practice, but it was for a social work practice. I was able to do my first funding strategy with this private practice. That was my biggest win because I hadn't gotten any money in 3 months. Carmela set me up with the CEO of Code Crew, which is a Memphis-based nonprofit that I have volunteered with before. So I was like, here's my funding strategy for my certification that I'm doing right now. When I get my certification, I would love to reconnect with you guys. And they're like, okay, like tell us when you get certified. In November, I followed up with them and they said, we're super busy right now. We're not really ready to hire someone. We will keep in touch. And within a week of that email, I got reached out by a recruiter from a local recruiting agency, and they're looking for someone in the fundraising space, mainly looking for sponsorships, basically building the entire fundraising department from the ground up. I went through the interview process, and going into the end of the year, I was like, I don't know if I'll be employed here, but I'm running out of money. But I have to just keep having faith. I was hired for both jobs within the same 2 days. Crazy that I was like, just keep pushing, keep having faith, and don't give up. It was about 6 months of really trying to break into this field, and now I have 55 hours of work. I'm in a completely different career than I was a year ago. And I don't think even a year ago I would have thought this is where I would have been. It does take a lot of faith.
It does take a lot of faith. And that's what I was going to ask you about. How did you continue to motivate yourself when it got pretty low?
I used to live in Mississippi, and right when I left my job, I also left Mississippi to come to Memphis. And I was living with my parents. We had separated, and our family was like disconnected. And I thought, I needed something to tether me to reality and something that I could hold on to. This has not been an easy path even after being hired. It has been incredibly challenging. After not working full time to going, more than full time, I've had a lot of introspection of why am I still doing this? Why don't I just leave one of the jobs, just make it easier on myself? But I realized my discomfort is a signal that I'm doing something right. Because there's a difference between letting yourself in harm and like recognizing that discomfort is not something you should avoid. It is something that you should put your whole energy into and ride the wave. Discomfort is one of those things that you only can learn through experience of working through it. And once you get through that discomfort, it is the most rewarding, beautiful thing you can experience as a human being. Like that is the human experience. I'm just so grateful that because I stuck to this path through the grant writing and sponsorship and fundraising and all that jazz, that tether helped me work through the things that I was going through with my family, and we are like reconciled again. But I feel like so proud of myself for being able to get through this journey. As much as it's great to have help, I did this on my own, and I'm so proud of myself. I can't believe I did it, but I did it, and no one can take that from me. It's been an emotional journey, but I'm really grateful for it because having like that tether, whether it's, your career or it's a loved one, if I just believe in, it doesn't have to be a higher power. It can just be, I can show up for myself one day at a time. That can push you beyond limits you've never even comprehended. And so I just had to believe, I know I'm going to get there. It's going to happen. And it doesn't have to happen in the timeline that I'm expecting to it, because the connections didn't align until it was ready. And I was ready, frankly.
Well, thank you so much for your vulnerability. Your tenacity is unreal. And yeah, you're right. No one gets to take that away from you. This is the coolest part of this journey, leaning into that discomfort, but proving to yourself that you showed up for yourself, for your dreams, and that you did this. The greatest gift of all. I'm so thankful that you continued to show up for yourself.
I was a little shamed when I was getting the results that I was seeing, like everyone posting about in our forum. But I really had to take a step back and be like, this community was created to inspire each other, not to make us feel shameful about our individual progress. These motivation groups that we formed were really great for me. It just felt like there were other people that were also going through the same challenges. It's not just me, it's just how things were. And I was motivated constantly to just reach out to someone. You did it for your job in tech sales, and that was for other people. If you can sell a product, you can sell yourself to people. It's weird how sometimes your younger self can have more wisdom than you realize, and you have to really tap into that past versions of yourself and be like, what about her was so inspired to do that action? Why can't the present me also do that?
How grateful I am that you have shown up for your own journey every single step of the way. That tenacity, one, is going to have served you so well in the last year, and I can't wait to see what that energy takes you into in the next year and beyond.
I really want to thank you guys for putting together this organization that brings together so many like-minded people that have an insatiable drive to better themselves, but also to help others. And that like combo is so lethal. So I'm like really grateful to be considered a part of this community. So yeah.
We're so grateful for you. I mean, I wake up every day and pinch myself that I get to be surrounded by so many women in this community who show up every day for themselves, for their dreams, the communities that they're serving, and like day in, day out, we show up for each other. It's wild. I agree with you. So
Yes.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
being a
I
part of
love
it, because we
it.
couldn't do it without you showing up for yourself and for the other
Thank you.
unicorns. So thank you.
Thank
Well, I can't wait for round two.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome.